This is the most powerful way to get SaaS marketing agency clients or any marketing agency clients in 2024 during economic downturns or in an extremely volatile market. Now, this method might be a little bit counterintuitive to what you've learned before, but this really focuses on a psychological approach. And it's a method I've been using for the last 7 years and has generated a significant amount of revenue. And I shared this post. I'm going to take you through a post I shared in our private members only group earlier on today. And this is a screenshot from the group. It does have the screenshot, but I've actually got it copy and pasted down below to make it a little bit larger for you so you can follow along. Now, this is, as I said, this is one of the most powerful ways to do it. This is how we do it. And it is really that psychological approach. It's a little bit different in how we view things. And it really counteracts the most common issues people face when they're trying to bring on clients for the SaaS marketing agency or any other agency for that matter. Most people focus on selling the service or the tools and the things essentially, right? But the reality is that doesn't sell. What you have to do is you have to frame this differently in a transformative manner. So I'm going to jump in and take you through this post and just read. It's not too long, so stick with me. And it should be quite powerful for you. A lot of our members really received this well. So hopefully you can see the benefit from it as well, just like they did. So as I said, this is the post here. And I'll just scroll down the bottom for you so that it's a little bit bigger and you can read. And this was just a GIF that I posted of, it's about a plumber and a burst pipe. And this was the GIF that I found, which I kind of loved that GIF. But anyway, I'll continue on here. So here is the post that is above. This one sentence can change everything. I have a couple of lines I anchor in all of my conversations with the prospects around. One in particular always hits home, and I'm going to let you in on it today. Let's say you want to bring in customers into a simple recurring revenue model, anywhere from $97 to $497 or even $1,000 per month. You can build this sentence into sales funnels or sales calls if you want to use them. Everybody wants to sell the missed call automations, right? You might see them in GoHighLevel quite a lot, but nobody actually wants to buy these. This will change after reading this post. Now, a super simple structure for a local business to run is Google Ads, as we all know, combined with a solid Google business profile and, of course, the reviews. Pretty standard stack there, right? Most people are aware of this. This is essentially the stack that a lot of people try to sell. Maybe it's simple SEO or maybe it's Facebook ads. But really what I'm looking for is intent-based traffic. That's the standard package. Now, there's nothing wrong with the standard package as a little caveat to this post. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. It will work perfectly fine, but it will only work if you frame it this way. Now, the key here is painting the real world journey that a customer is going to go through. But everyone has heard of Google Ads before, right? This can also work for SEO. So customers aren't excited about it anymore, right? Well, it depends how you present it. First of all, it's never Google Ads. It's intent-based traffic. Customers who are already looking for a service. Let's say a prospect has a burst pipe and they need a plumber right now. Now, if there are 300 people every month in a local area searching for a plumber, why wouldn't you want to be at the top of that list if you are a plumber? That's a logical question that we can ask to the particular plumber. Why wouldn't you want to be there, right? Of course you would. If there's 300 people searching every month for a problem that you can fix, that is the core of your business, of course you want to be front and center, right? Any logical person would say yes when someone has an urgent problem. I want to be in front of them. I want to be front and center because it's a guaranteed business, right? Okay, great. Now, when they do search, it's just a list of brand names. So searching on Google, it's just a list of brand names with all of your competitors on there as well. So what does the customer base this initial decision to call you on or to submit your lead form or whatever the opt-in process is? What do they base that decision on, right? There's a big list of competitors. What are they looking at? They're looking at reviews. If you have no reviews, you aren't winning that business. It's the same thing when you want to find an Italian restaurant for Friday night's dinner. You either go for the one with the best reviews or you roll the dice and risk food poisoning. What's it going to be? Are you going to risk that? Or are you going to gravitate to the one that you know you will enjoy? You're probably going to gravitate to the one that you'll enjoy, right? It's a decision that you don't want to get wrong, especially if it's something like a burst pipe. You're picking the top rated plumber for this every single time. You don't want to get it wrong. You don't want it to happen again in 2 weeks' time because it wasn't done properly. You want this to be done properly from day one. So you're going to get the best plumber. You pay the price that it costs to get the best plumber, and you move on. So, as if I'm speaking to the prospect here, we need to ensure that you have excellent reviews and lots of them, or you'll never ever win this business. You can either call every customer you have and ask them for reviews, and also remember to ask every job that you've just finished for a review, and obviously make sure they actually give it. How many people promise reviews and never give it, right? Or you can automate this entire process and forget about it, allowing your reviews to build. Problem solved. Now it's time to go faster and grow your business. Let's say you pay for Google Ads to get to the top of the search. Makes sense. It's a shortcut to the top, and you will be front and center with intent-based leads with a problem that needs you. And forgive me on this one, I use the UK spelling of center. So if you're from North America, you might spell this a little differently. And my Google account is from North America, so that's why it's underlined. But anyway, not to diverge there. Great. That lead calls the plumber because they now have a stack of great reviews and their first choice. The trust factor is there. So we've got the plumber in a position where they're front and center for the leads that have a problem. They're now being called because they are the first choice. They've got all the best reviews, solves the problem again. Now we've got the lead to call the plumber, but the plumber is on the job. They can't pick up the phone. The customer needs a solution right now. It's basically guaranteed business. They have a problem. They need that fixed. It's a win-win. So what does the customer do when the plumber doesn't pick up? They scroll to the next Google listing and they call the competitor, right? It's the logical thing to do. How many times have you done that? I've done that 100 times. You just go to the next one and you call them, the next best reviewed. The competitor answers, they get the business. It's as simple as that. Now here's where the magical sentence that gets sales comes in, because it rubs salt in the wound of the prospect. You have just paid for your competitor to take your business. Is this something you want to be doing? Probably not. The next step is leveraging automation and AI. This is where the AI conversational AI and GoHighLevel comes in, and the missed call text back features, all those kind of things. This is where this comes in. So leveraging automation and AI to make sure that when this customer calls, they always receive a response. Maybe they can see your availability using conversational AI and integrated calendars. They can have their questions answered automatically, and they can find a time slot instantly. So you're not losing that business. You're not giving it away to your competitor. You can also call them back immediately afterwards, after you have locked in that business, because there's an appointment in the calendar and you're going to follow up with them. It's as simple as that. Now, rather than losing that business to your competitor and basically gifting them your money, prospect, as if I'm talking to that prospect, and look at specifically how I framed this, right? Gifting them your money is psychological here. Rather than losing that business to your competitor and basically gifting them your money, you take the business. When you do this consistently, imagine what happens to your revenue. It snowballs. Getting new business is all in how we frame the problem. Right now, that if we end speaking to the prospect here, getting new business is all in how we frame that problem. There are ways that we can say the same thing, but rub some salt in the wound of that prospect, putting the problem into real world terms for the business owner. That's the key. I'm not using technical language or overarching ideas here. I am simply putting the problem into real world terms that the business owner can actually relate to. So on the job, missing the call, prospect scrolls down to the next listing and calls them. Of course, that happens naturally, right? And it's very simple. But the systems and processes we have can solve that problem. But again, I'm not selling the functionality of conversational AI. I'm not selling the functionality of the missed call text pack or the ability to get front and center with the reviews. I'm not selling those tools. I'm not saying this is the benefit of this. What I'm saying is this solves that particular problem that you have, right? And what I'm doing here is I'm following a framework, a very specific framework where we solve the problem and create the next problem. And it's a cycle. We solve a problem, create the next one, solve that one, create the next one once again. That's the secret behind this structure. That's the secret behind your success, being able to always create that next problem. Now, it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing that you have created the problem of the plumber missing the calls. That's a good thing because they didn't have the call before, right? They didn't have, before you implemented the review process and optimized the Google business profile or maybe use Google Ads, they were not getting that phone call. So now you have solved the problem of not getting the phone calls and created a problem of now missing those phone calls. And that's where your next solution comes into action. That's the secret. That's what it's all about. It's about this framework of solve the problem, create the next problem over and over and over again. And that's how we sell the software. That's how we structure the offers. And it works really, really well. I simply put it into real life terms in the shoes of the plumber or any market for that matter. This is how you sell. This is how you create offers that actually have demand. It's not about a magical solution or a hot service. It's simply about framing it really, really well. That was the end of the post. Now, to take you through a little bit of cliff notes as to the key to a successful offer structure, it must become transformational. So we don't sell tools. We do not sell features. We always sell a transformational system that solves a business owner's problem. That's the key. It must be transformational. It must be packaged as a system that they can follow. I'm not selling individual tools. I'm not selling review management. I'm not selling the conversational AI. This is the mistake people make. They try to sell these tools. Not at all. What we do is we package it together to form a solution, right? A complete solution that utilizes all the features. It doesn't just describe the features. This transformational process solves the problem, which is they want more business. It also solves all of the micro or secondary problems that's created when you're trying to solve that problem or when you're trying to get more business. It solves all of those individual problems. Now, there is a way, if you don't have case studies, I hear all the time, as you probably saw above, there's about 400, I think it's 447 members, can't quite recall, within our private members group. And I see it all the time. It's the same, a very common question, right? Which is, what happens if I don't have case studies? What happens if I don't have testimonials? How can I win that business? What happens if I don't have reviews myself? Well, it works a little differently here because number one, you're leveraging the software, right? Which is over 3 million users and it's worth $500 million. You've got a good infrastructure behind you. You can have confidence. But one of the keys behind the sales frameworks is if it's in your funnel process or if it's on a sales call, depending on if you want to sell automatically through a direct sales funnel or if you want to sell through a call, you can use both of them. Usually above, say, $200 a month, that's where you want to go for a sales call. But below that, you can go direct. But the key to this is on those calls or on the funnel process, by going into the detail of solving the problem and creating the next problem that they didn't even think about. So, for example, they run Google Ads. They think problem solved. I've run Google Ads. Well, hold on a second. They're just going to skip you because you don't have any reviews. Once they start searching for your business, which people do, right? They will see the business appear at one point. They'll then search for it. No reviews. They're not going to go for it, right? Or Google Map listings or whatever the case is, whatever the scenario. They're not going to go for it. So the business owner hasn't thought about that. You have the solution to the problem that they haven't even thought about yet. What that does is that demonstrates expertise. If you demonstrate that expertise, the pressure that's stacked on case studies and testimonials and reviews, it disappears because they no longer question your process because you have solutions. Not just do you know the problem they're going to have that they don't even know yet. You've already got a solution for that problem prepared. You're demonstrating expertise here and it removes the issue. So of course, you're always going to have someone out there that wants to see case studies and testimonials. Sure, it can always happen, but you can reduce the number of times that it happens significantly and make sure that it doesn't hold you back by simply using this solve the problem, create the problem framework because it demonstrates the expertise. So we must sell that transformational system and it must follow that framework. That's very specific framework. Next, We need to put the offer into the business owner's world. No technical jargon, simply describe exactly what happens with the particular prospect. I'm not describing features. I'm not describing benefits here. I'm simply explaining what happens, and that is it. And I'm using real world terms. I'm using a real world scenario. I'm using exactly what they're going to do behavior wise. That's it. That's how you sell the system. You don't have to use technical jargon. You don't have to explain how Google Ads work. Not at all. It's a traffic source. That's it. It's the whole system that they're investing into. Number 3, it must be positioned in such a way that it makes complete logical sense to work with you. People struggle when they simply try to sell the tools. This goes for the SaaS marketing agency and also any other marketing business. Has to be positioned where it makes sense. So again, the whole process, it can't just be one element of that process. If you try to sell one element, like if you just try to sell review management, you might get some customers, but you're going to struggle with scale. So, and you're also going to struggle to get customers initially. It's going to be harder to do so because your offer just isn't that attractive. It's not solving the problem because they might not be problem aware at this point, right? So it completely goes over their head as to why they need reviews. When you package it as a transformational system like this, they understand why they need this because it solves that initial problem they have. And it also has the added benefit of solving all the next problems they have as well, which gives you the expertise, which gives you the retention, and it helps you close that business a lot faster because they view you as the expert rather than simply trying to sell a service at that point. So that's the key. Now, as I mentioned before, it must follow the solve a problem, create a problem framework. And the secret with an offer like this is actually retention. It needs to be actionable. It needs to provide clarity at every step. And the offer example in my post there does that, right? It's very clear. It's a step-by-step process. We want to make sure the profile is optimized. We want to get reviews to make sure we're not losing business, the holes in the boat. We need to run Google Ads to drive traffic. We need to make sure when those leads do call, they don't fall out. That's the key, right? It's the whole process, A to Z, very clear for them. And it has to be real. It has to feel real. It has to make logical sense in their mind. Remember, your prospects might not be in the marketing world. They don't do this every day. They don't have time to think about this. If you give them too much detail, it's going to go straight over their head. You have to give it to them in their own words, in their own world, and be very descriptive rather than, I'd say, rather than providing in-depth explanations, you must be descriptive from a more emotional standpoint, a more matter of fact with the situation, rather than technical, more focused on what the reality of that customer and what it means for the business owner if the customer does do that. That's the key with selling these offers rather. So that wraps us up for this video today. Hopefully you found that beneficial. That might have maybe sparked a light bulb moment in your mind and how we position those offers. And as I mentioned, I posted this earlier in the group today. I got some good feedback, so I thought I'd maybe produce a video on it and help other people. So any questions, let me know in the comments. And if you like this type of content, like and subscribe to my videos. I've got a lot of other videos now on my channel, all about the SaaS marketing agency and the psychological approach behind things. And how one of my favorite videos that we just created is how we hit 301 active subscribers in just one of our niches, because we replicate this process over and over and over again in different markets. I've got an entire video on how we actually accomplished that on my channel, which will be hopefully in the suggested videos on the right hand side. But as I said, if you like this type of content, like and subscribe. Any comments or any questions, let me know down in the comments and I'll be happy to answer. I always try my best to answer everybody that comments. So I'll wrap this up here and I'll see you on the other side.